Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Kickstart UX. Today we're going to talk about how to get your team to love UX. I'm just going to be telling you guys a few things that I've learned in the past about really how to be a better design partner to the people on my team. So the first one is to actually teach people about what UX does if they are not already familiar. A lot of times you're collaborating with people where maybe it's the first time that they've ever interacted with a UX designer. Maybe they've heard of designers, but they're not really sure what they do. They're not really sure about the process. So what I do is I'll set up a session, literally called UX Designers 101 or How Do We Work? And I'll talk a little bit about the brief history of UX design. I'll talk about the design process. I will talk about the company's design guidelines, our UX principles as a team, along with misconceptions about UX designers, such as we decorate buttons or we only have one project at a time. I think that those are just really important things to talk about at the beginning so everybody is on the same page. And it might be really useful for, your partner team to do that as well for you. Okay, the second one is make them participate in UX research. Not everybody has actually had that face-to-face interaction with their user, right? It's really important to get people participating in studies, have engineers take notes, have your PMs be there to listen. If you're not able to do that, maybe you can record it and have that video played back later, or maybe you can live stream it somehow. It's so important that the rest of the team also feels invested in that user research. If you're going into a big meeting where there's a lot of people and you're not really sure if everybody's gonna love what you're about to propose, it's a good idea to actually sync one-on-one with those key stakeholders that might have differing opinions, just so that you're actually aligned before this larger meeting. This is a trick that one of my colleagues taught me. It's just like, you don't want to waste a lot of time in those big meetings debating like small little details. So if there's any big concerns that somebody has, just talk about it beforehand so that when you go into this larger group meeting, actually things just go a lot smoother. Okay, this also sounds like common sense, but it's really important to have meetings where people are actually standing up and ideally standing next to a whiteboard. This is why conference rooms are great, right? And sadly, during a global pandemic, we can't really make this happen. One reason why I say this is because when you're actually sitting across the table from somebody, already they are in a position where it's easy to say no because you are on that side and they are on this side, right? But if you're standing together, subconsciously, your body's like, oh, everybody's friends. We're all in this together. And there's a lot more yes and happening in that scenario. Okay, this is a really important one. Be a good listener. If Jim over here is like, hey guys, I think we should add another menu of settings, I bet your first instinct is to be like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. But in that scenario, what you actually want to do is you want to say, that's interesting. What makes you say that? Be curious about what they're proposing. Why would they propose such a solution? Is it that you feel that our current UI isn't really working? Is it because you're not able to find a specific setting that you really want? Why are we kind of in this mindset? People feel a lot more okay with their idea actually not working out as long as they feel like that idea was acknowledged in some way. In the case where you do need to say no, sometimes you don't need to say no outright. You can also explain what your priorities are, explain your timeline, explain the resources that the UX team has to either make it work or not make it work. Those are all things that you can do. This is an important one too. Check in often. So don't be in your design cave for a month and not talk to anybody, because a month later everybody's going to be super shocked at this design proposal because nobody's seen it before and maybe they have lots of opinions about why it won't work. A lot of teams will just send out like emails every week, or if you're in a physical space, you can just like tape designs up. That's really the best way. Hard to do during global pandemic, I know. Last thing is the most important one. Get to know people as people. Like really build those relationships. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. When I first joined my current team, I would say that the relationship between our team and a partner team wasn't really great. All the meetings ended in a little bit of tension. They weren't really sure what my value was. I just started going to their building and sitting with them every Friday so that they could get used to me as a part of their team, so that people get the sense that, oh yeah, like she's kind of working with us and she's sitting there on the couch, and we can go over to her if we have ideas. That's kind of cool. Have lunch with those people, have like coffee with those people where you're not talking about work. Man, this is like the most important thing that I've learned in my whole career, really, is just, at the end of the day, everybody has their own life stresses. Everybody has different priorities. People have families. People have other things that they're juggling. Just be kind and try to understand them as a human being versus just your colleague. All right, so those are my 8 tips on how to get your team to love you, basically. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.